I won't be looking at it.
Sunday.
Weekend quizzes. So we did McCullough versus Maryland in Ogden or whatever it was, given.
Yes,
I want to
sir.
look at those. I want to read you a couple things. McCullough. Today's the anniversary. It's 2 anniversaries today. You know what today is? September 17th? What's that? Oh yeah, Constitution's birthday today. And usually when I hear birthday, it's like, well, that's not important because birthdays aren't important. You share it with like millions and millions and millions of other people living right now. You know, so I don't celebrate my birthday. I give little Christy, I write her a little note or something, and she makes us buy the kids something. I think they should buy us something for their birthday because it really disrupted my day when they were born. I had stuff to do that day, and I had to go. When she had Pacer, she didn't want to take the shot, so they were giving her something, and as soon as they gave it to her, she went and started throwing up. So she's going into labor, she's throwing up everywhere, and then they decide to give the needle, which is that long, and they put it into your spine, and you can't move when they do it because it's going into your spine, which could possibly lead to paralysis. So I'm sitting there, I'm holding her up while they're doing that, and she starts to throw up and she starts having a contraction. And I just said, "Stop! Don't you dare move! I am not taking care of 2 kids and somebody in a wheelchair. Just stop it!" And we survived. Everything was good. Don't you dare move! Don't you dare move! Anyway, today is also the anniversary of, it's the 50th anniversary of Monday Night Football, which means nothing to you because Monday Night Football is garbage. But from 1970 to 1990, there was nothing better than it was a football game on a Monday night, and it was 2 good teams and good people announcing. Now it's just garbage. Is it working? Yeah, I want to make sure y'all do that. McCullough versus Maryland, and is it Gibbons? Yeah, Gibbons versus Ogden. Because I'm going to bet there's some kind of question about this going to come up. Does everybody have access to a book, at least? So y'all have this like in your, okay. Give me a second. Y'all's time is coming. All right. McCullough versus Maryland was 1819, involved the question of whether Congress had the power to charter a national bank, an explicit grant of power nowhere to be found in Article 1, which explains what Congress can do. Chief Justice John Marshall, we are. That's the first time ever. We are. Nobody. We are Marshall. Remember, everybody, y'all know what I'm talking about? We are. We are. Yes, Godzilla. Funerals in Today. It's a great show. Golly, that's the first time that's ever happened. I've always had somebody. Man, that hurts. Golly. John Marshall answered that this power could be, quote, implied from the other powers that were expressly delegated to Congress, such as the powers to lay and collect taxes, to borrow money, to regulate commerce, and to declare and conduct a war. Marshall's decision rested on the necessary and proper clause, which gave Congress the power to enact laws, quote, necessary and proper for executing its substantive powers. That's what we talked about. Implied comes from that little thing where it says, whatever you got to do this, you can do it. So they said, the Supreme Court said you could do a national bank, charter a national bank. By allowing Congress to use the necessary and proper clause to interpret its delegated powers expansively, that's a big word, the Supreme Court created the potential for an unprecedented increase in national government power. Marshall also concluded that whenever a state law conflicted with a federal law, the state law would be deemed invalid since the Constitution states the laws of the United States shall be the supreme law of the land. So that's what you got. Federal power is going to supersede state powers. Gibbons versus Ogden. All right, girls. I believe women are way better than guys. Guys are idiots. Some of y'all might get married someday. And I do not believe if the tradition was the guy takes the girl's name, I'd be fine. That's fine. I'm not saying that you're not any good, so you have to take some guy's name. But to me, the hyphen really confuses things. It's less confusion. That's all I'm not, whatever, what do you call it? If you don't like something, or not superstitious, but you're, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm not prejudiced. But it seems really simple if everybody's got the same name, you know? So, I don't know. Why did I say that? Where was it? Oh, what if your dream guy, the guy God made for you, he's amazing, he's perfect. After the first date, he asks you to go to Sunday school. He has a job. He smells okay. I mean, everything is good. But his last name is Ogden. Is that a game changer? Is that? Don't let that be so. Jana, what if your guy, his last name's Banna? Jana Banna. But he's the greatest ever. God made him for you. He's perfect. He completes. So you're gonna let that little thing. Man, what a shallow human being. All right, so Gibbons versus Ogden. Ogden. Pacer makes fun of my name all the time. I tell him, it's just because you had a cool parent. I had dorky parents. Jonathan, Michael. I don't care. Still is a pain in the butt. Okay. Gibbons. It'll happen to you someday. You'll have to have something here. I'm gonna laugh. The important but relatively narrow issue was whether the state of New York could grant a monopoly to Robert Fulton's Steamboat Company to operate an exclusive service from New York and New Jersey. Chief Justice Marshall, we are! Y'all got to see that movie. It's amazing. It'll make you cry. It'll make you crap your pants. It'll make you run around the house. Yeah, got to see it. Chief Justice Marshall argued that New York State did not have the power to grant this particular monopoly, so Marshall had to define what Article 1, Section 8 meant by commerce among the several states. He insisted that the definition was comprehensive, extending to every species of commercial intercourse. However, this comprehensiveness was limited, quote, to that commerce which concerned more states than one. Gibbons is important because it established the supremacy of the national government in all matters affecting what later would be named to be called interstate commerce. So I bet they'll ask something about those two things. The New Deal. What can you tell me about the New Deal? What did it do? It did one thing, and we talked about it Tuesday. That government from 1789 to 1937 didn't do anything. What did the New Deal do? Now the government is involved. Now the government's here. We're here. You know, they said they were marching in the streets. You know, whatever. I was trying to think of something. They always chant something. People in the streets always chant something. I've never been in the streets, so. Yeah, all of a sudden the New Deal. This New Deal was the government's going to do some stuff. Did the government probably need to do some stuff? Probably did. I don't know if we should have gone as far as it did. That's just me. Coach Ryle wants people to die and not eat. That's not what I want. By 1932, 25% of the workforce was unemployed. There's people today, your great-grandma and great-grandpa, probably would never vote for a Republican because of FDR. because of the Depression. Because the Republicans caused it, because Hoover was driving the bus when the Depression got here, and then FDR started trying to fix things, so they'll always vote Democratic. The South was always Democratic forever because of Reconstruction and because of the Depression. When he took office in '33, FDR, he established all these programs, the Works Progress Administration. I know about that because my sidewalk had a stamp on it. They'd stamped it in the cement. It said Works Progress. That's who built all this stuff. They built all the gyms. They built all the libraries. Grants in aid. Grants in aid. We know about a grant. You don't got to pay it back. Right. Grants in aid. I don't know why. I don't know why Commander-in-Chief. I don't know why. That's dumb. But grants in aid, and then what else do we call it? Categorical grants. Grants and aid are chunks of money. The federal government gives the states chunks of money and says you got to use this for education. Guess I got Alexa. The state of Texas gets this chunk of money, and as long as they spend it on education, it might be teacher stuff, it might be buses, it might be buildings, it might be, as long as they spend on education, they can spend that money how they want. Categorical grants is money that by law has to go to something specific. So like a law is passed where, let's see, okay, just a specific problem, specific area. This is a broader, this is more narrow, all right? But it's federal money going to the states. Grants and aid, categorical grants. Does this give the federal government more power over the states? Yes. Because the federal government can say, here's this money if you spend it for this, and we'll only give you this money if you promise to do this or not do this. So they can control states. Trying to think something. Like, Colt didn't want, all right, we'll get in trouble here, but that's all right. In the annual, you know, you pay money and you can look like you're important in the very back, you know. Oh, my mommy loves me, she might, you know, do all that kind of stuff. Colt didn't want to do that, and we didn't want to do that. Because I didn't want Colt to think he was any more important than what he already does. And we didn't have any money. And then Colt, he knows how to play mama. He said, yeah, I don't want that. You just give me the money. You know, what? No, that's not the point here. That's not what we're, you know, and Mom said, oh, okay. What are you doing? What do you mean giving him the money? And no, that's the whole point. We can't, might as well put the crap in there. Colt, we love you so much. You're so amazing. You're so wonderful. You know, anyway. Yeah, he played the system. He didn't get a ring. He was smart enough. He didn't do that. Paige didn't get a ring. He raised some good kids. Johnston's doesn't like us very much. Or whatever. We used to have rings. Some girls had that thing. My football jersey's gone. My high school football jersey's gone. Some girl dumped me and she took it. That was my fault. Why would I let a girl wear a jersey? Why can I do that, Rob? So stupid. Anyway. So don't ever give a girl your jersey. Don't do that. She still has her leg. Some of this I ain't never heard of. This comparative cooperative federalism. The type of federalism existing since the New Deal, since the 30s, in which grants and aid have been, yes, I do know what this is. Strategic, I didn't even look at this, I already told you this. Strategically to encourage states and localities to pursue nationally defined goals. Yeah, that's a way that the federal government can blackmail the states. You gotta do this, or else you don't get this. We should have done code. Yeah, code. You have to do this in order to get this. But mommy just gives. Give. See what else we got. Regulated federalism is a form of federalism where Congress imposes legislation on states and localities, like passing laws saying you have to do this, or you can't do this. You have to, like the Department of Education. They say schools have to do certain things, and you have to do this and have to do that. So we have to do what they say we have to do.